Jr. Good morning and welcome. Aloha from Hawaii. We do this every morning on our six channels, our six platforms on TikTok, on Trovo in Europe. We're also on Twitch right now. We're on YouTube right now, 2 Facebook channels, and Instagram. So we'd like to welcome each and every one of you this morning. So, channeling the superconscious. Whoa, it sounds kind of strange, right? Actually, not. When you start opening up to the superconscious, okay, or let's say it another way, when you start becoming clear in here, your intuitive messages become stronger. When you start paying attention to intuitive thought, it gets sharper. Why? Because you begin, number one, accepting it, number two, paying attention to it. And what you pay attention to intensifies. It's like this. You're driving down the street. You get that feeling you need to turn right. But because you have an ego and free will, and your ego always thinks it knows better, then it says, no, go straight. And then you get stuck in the traffic jam. And then what do you say? You say, I knew I should have. Yeah, because you did know, right? You knew. You knew, and you dismissed it. Kind of like when you go to a party, you know that eating the cake is bad for you because it'll, maybe it has too much sugar in it. But your ego says, no, that's okay. And you dismiss that. You see something as being bad for you consciously. And you make that conscious decision to do it anyway, knowing that there's consequences. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's just something we do as human beings. So communicating with the superconscious, how does that work? Well, there is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. That's it. The superconscious is God. So however you make that association, I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but however you make that association, that's what that is. So you're explaining something to someone, and now you're beginning to draw upon the superconscious. So the subconscious contains your core beliefs. The superconscious will support those core beliefs. Now you're drawing information from the superconscious. How does that work? You're being given information. So you may be explaining to someone how to do something, and all of a sudden you start channeling this response. And you observe yourself in motion, because human beings are the only beings that can observe themselves in motions, right? In motion. Animals have this one experience. But because you can observe yourself in motion, you observe yourself speaking these details that not even you know you knew. And you go, wow, I hope I remember this. I hope I remember this because I didn't even know I knew this. I can't even tell you how many times that I sat in my teaching studio, and how many times I sit here on the live, and how many times I teach people one-on-one online, and I begin to channel. And they think it's me. And I'm observing this in real time, going, whoa, I hope I remember this, right? But all that's necessary is that you focus on the topic. Today's topic is channeling the subconscious. The superconscious, sorry. So there's only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. When you channel, you open yourself to information. When you open yourselves to information, the information starts to flow. The only thing that prevents that information is the ego. Because the ego says, I know better. The ego says, no, I don't have to pay attention to this. This is silly. But then the ego gets stuck in the traffic jam. The ego says, no, I got this. I'm going to do it this way. And then something goes wrong. Why? Because there's no flow. There is no natural order to it. So the conscious mind, look at it like your operating system, the frontal lobe of your brain. It processes thousands of thoughts a day. The thoughts that you think about the most go into your subconscious as programs, because a belief is a thought you keep thinking. When you believe something, it goes into your subconscious. Now the subconscious will start producing. It will start producing everything conducive to your belief. With the help of the superconscious, it works together. The subconscious and superconscious work together. The superconscious involves tapping into intuitive thought, or divine inspiration, if you want to call it that way, or higher self-communication, okay? Divine transmission, however you want to say it. Divine intelligence. But it does this because your operating system, the conscious mind, feeds the subconscious mind. So that's your hard drive, because that's where programs are installed. So what is the superconscious? The superconscious is your network. Everybody's plugged into the network. Okay, this is where you get divine oneness from. We are all extensions of energy. We are all extensions of energy that go back to the source of energy, to the main source of energy. You can call it God, you can call it the superconscious, you can call it Jesus Christ, you can call it Allah. There are different labels that you want to put on, that you can put on there or apply to it, but that's what it is. But it's all according to what you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. As you start to trust intuitive thought more and more, you start to find out, whoa, my life is getting better. So women have this intuitive thought thing down really, really well, because they've been given an edge. They've been given a sharper intuition, because they bear young and they raise young. They become mama bears at some point, or not, but they're engineered for it. That's why we call it women's intuition. It's different. It's sharper. They can identify things faster. Their brains process faster than ours. So when you get this reception, when you receive divine thought, intuitive thought, intuition, these are your instructions. When you begin to question intuition, who's doing the questioning? It's the ego. The ego questions because it thinks it knows better. So you have freedom of choice. You can choose. And isn't it funny that most people go, you know, I had a feeling it was like this. I had a feeling that it was like that. I had a feeling I needed to turn over there. I had a feeling I needed to pick up my son after school today because something was going to happen. And they picked up their child, and then they found out something happened after they left. Some people have a feeling in the airport that they need to go to the restroom, and they miss their flight, and then they find out something bad happened to that flight. And they go, wow, I just had a feeling to do this, which took me away from that. But often we override these things. We override intuitive thought, which goes against our guidance. It's divine guidance. Either way you look at it, it's divine guidance. Think about something. Ask yourself a question. You will receive the answer. If you are receiving different answers for the same thing, for the same question, you have to relax the ego. It's the ego going, no, my way, over here. But the intuitive thought, the intuition is the same thing. It's telling you the same thing. Your ego is going, no, push it away, push it away, push it away. Eventually what happens? Eventually what happens is you go, okay, I will submit. And you have to submit. What are you submitting to? You're submitting to God. You are submitting to higher self. You're submitting to divine transmission, divine intervention, if you want to call it that. You're submitting to that energy. But that energy knows what is good for you and what is not good for you. But as human beings, sometimes we enjoy things that are not good for us. And that's okay. That's fine. Okay? The world, the physical world works a certain way. It's a physical matrix. There's a separation between the physical and the spiritual. The spiritual's in here, whatever you call this, a spirit, soul, energy, that's in here. That's you. These are just instruments. The body is an instrument. It's your instrument, but it's an instrument. Gautama Buddha said, the man who sees life as an illusion escapes suffering. You have to understand the difference between the spiritual and the physical. What's possible in here and what's possible out here. Everything out here is a reflection of everything in here. It's the divine law of correspondence, the universal law of correspondence. When you see the results out here from someone, you see what's going on in here. Messy desk, messy mind. Busy desk, busy mind. Organized desk, organized mind. So the seat of divine intelligence is the superconscious. The superconscious will give you guidance. The superconscious says, oh, here's the way. Here, go like this, do this, do this. So when you get up in the morning, you go, I don't feel like doing that. Start tuning into what you feel like doing. Okay, I don't feel like doing that. There's a reason. I got up, I'm not feeling it today, right? I'm not feeling this today. If you're not feeling it, don't do it. Some people don't feel like going to work, but then they're obligated to the job because they need a paycheck. So there's things that we have to do if we're obligated to it, or if we sign up for it, or if we desire the results of it. But we go back to the tree. So the subconscious beliefs, the core beliefs, are the roots of the tree. Your paradigm, okay, it constructs your paradigm, the trunk of the tree, which is how you see the world, which is how you behave according to how you see the world according to what you believe. Now, the fruits of the tree up here, these are the actions that produce the results, but the actions are initiated by the paradigm and the core beliefs. I had a discussion with one of my clients this morning about changing and installing new beliefs in groups of people. How is that done? The same way. The same thing. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. It's the same process. It's the same process for a group. It's the same process for an individual. But when you start to function on intuitive thought, when you trust it, it's a trust thing. You need to trust more. Are you trusting yourself more? Yes, you're trusting yourself more. Yourself. So is the ego separate from the self? And why should I trust intuition? Why should I trust this intuitive thought I get? Or these hunches I get? However you want to say it. Hunches, intuitive thought, intuition, divine inspiration. It helps you navigate. It helps you see clearly. But a lot of people, right, they don't trust it because they're not allowing. In order to allow, you need to let go. Allowing is this, opening. Allowing is coming from here to here. This represents closed. This represents I'm not open to suggestions. I'm hiding. I'm inside. This is a great place to hide. Some people hide in here and never come out. Some people seek material remedies, physical remedies, external remedies. The kingdom is in here. God is in here. The power is in here. The answers are in here. The subconscious, superconscious, and conscious mind all reside in here. There is no out there. All that's out there is nature and things from someone else is in here. That's all that's out there. Spontaneous knowing, spontaneous guidance, the transmission from the superconscious to the subconscious, the guidance from a higher source, from a greater energy, from God, however you want to look at it. Everyone perceives differently. Perception is relative. Perception is also subconscious. Whatever you were exposed to until you were about 7 years old is your fundamental basic paradigm. But it's not the paradigm, it's a paradigm. But it's your core paradigm. Human beings have more than one paradigm. The way you see the world is one thing. The way you see others is another. There is a way that you interact with your mom and dad, with mom and dad, and sister, and brother, and cousin, and niece, and nephew, and employer, and boss, and supervisor, and best friend. It goes on. It is a blessing to be this one. Being a human is the highest blessing. It's the highest blessing. So, how are you going to use this blessing to benefit? To benefit your life path. First, become open. Open first. Job number one is to open. We open people through their voices. Your voice is the mechanism that will open you the fastest. Your voice opens because it clears. It activates your neurotransmitters, which produce oxytocin and endorphins, which is why when you sing, you feel good. When you speak, you feel good. When you get all the energy out and you yell, there's the back end. You feel good somehow, right? When you get all that negative energy out and you yell, there's a temporary feeling of goodness. If you keep yelling, what happens? Well, now you're projecting a lower vibration. It's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance. Humans are very impressionable. Humans are very, very highly adaptable to situations. Humans are chameleons. We adapt to our environment wherever it is. We can go into a new environment and we can become a totally different person in a matter of days. In a matter of days. Which is why you need to change your environment if you're not getting the results you're getting. Because it's not just you. It's not you. It's everything you're attached to. Everything is energy. Your energy attracts like energy. It also adapts to like energy. What does that mean? That means if you're in an environment, you begin doing what they do. You begin saying what they say. Why? Because it's fun. You start becoming like them, which is why they say, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll tell you who you are. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in an intellectual environment, you become intellectual. If you're in a creative environment, you become creative. A lot of people say, well, I'm not creative. Maybe they're not in a creative environment. Once you take them and put them in a creative environment, they start firing those neurons. Neuroplasticity begins to happen. All of a sudden, their brain rewires, and now they're creative. Magic. No magic. Human. Human being. But humans have become conditioned into feeling less than. Less than. There are always gatekeepers. There are gate builders. They build the gates. Then they watch over them. Right? The gatekeepers. I'm here to tell you that you, this energy transcends all gates. All. If I had been I knocked on the gates. I pounded the gates, right? Until my hands got sore, and I'm like, I'm pounding this gate. I'm pounding this gas. Nothing's happening. Nothing's moving. In the wrong existence. There is something within you that's resisting. There's something within you that says push, 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 push. There's the ego that says, I know better, I know. Push, push, push. In a situation like that, we should default to intuitive thought, which would tell us, relax. Just go over here. It's not working here. Let's go over here. See where that goes. Not working here. Let's go over here. See where that goes. But the ego says, no, my dream is over here. This is what I want to do over here. What's the key? The key is surrender. Surrender. Give in. When the ego dissolves, let's say it another way. When the ego relaxes, when the ego begins to relax, okay, the ego serves a purpose. It's not about dissolving an ego. It's not about getting rid of an ego or not having an ego. It's about the ability to relax the ego and go, okay, I'll go over here. I'll do this. I'll try this. Flexibility is the key to life. Flexibility, adaptability. Why? Because we're chameleons. And sometimes you need to relax and go with the flow. There's a reason why they say that. Where the flow is going, the superconscious is providing the avenue. The superconscious is providing guidance. And it's corresponding to whatever is in the subconscious because they work together. Everything is in here. The kingdom is in here. You were born complete. You were born complete. There is nothing out here that's going to solve anything in here. If that's what you've been taught, you've been lied to. You've been conditioned. If you think taking a trip, maybe to Tahiti, maybe to Europe, maybe to Istanbul, if you think taking a trip is going to solve your problem, oh, when I get there, I'm going to be happy. I'll forget all about my problems. When I'm sitting on the beach in the Bahamas, I'll forget all about my problems. That's like saying, when I make money, I will be happy. When I get my car, I will be happy. When I get that Ferrari, I will be happy. When I get that dream home, I will be happy. Really? You're going to be on the beach in the Bahamas, frustrated, unhappy, because wherever you go, there you are. So in here, but because we have eyes, we are deceived into believing it's out there. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Get away from the distraction. Stop the distraction. Close your eyes. Feel the intuitive thought. You're not supposed to stop thinking when you meditate. When you close your eyes, begin to observe your thoughts without engaging in them. If you want a visual, imagine them as clouds. So this cloud, here comes this cloud, this thought, okay? Now, if you don't want to participate in this thought, it takes 90 seconds to disengage completely. 90 seconds. In other words, you have this impulse that you want to act on this. You have this impulse. Maybe, I don't know, it's to do something, it's to perform some action, it's to make a decision, it's to act on something impulsively or compulsively. It doesn't matter. You have 90 seconds. Can you sit still? Can you refrain for 90 seconds? Because when you do, it will be gone. That impulse will be gone. The compulsiveness will be gone. That drive to do something will be gone. 90 seconds. So visualize a cloud, a thought as a cloud, and you're watching this cloud go by. But you're observing the thought, you're observing the cloud, and you let it pass. You let it pass by. And then you'll see another cloud come because another thought comes, because you're not supposed to stop thinking, provoke activity. That activity will be based upon the thought. As a man thinketh, so is he. Because a belief is a thought you keep thinking. How many thoughts have you kept thinking that have become reality in your physical world? Tons. First you think it, then you do it. Inspired intuition is the voice of the superconscious. It aligns with the soul's purpose. Part of your paradigm is hereditary. Part of your upbringing, your teaching, your experience, your learning, everything. Have you ever taught something? Everyone has taught something. Have you learned something? Everyone has learned something. Have you experienced something? Everyone has experienced something. Your paradigm is built out of your experiences. If you subscribe to Sigmund Freud's thinking, everything relates to childhood, it's subconscious. If you subscribe to Carl Jung's teachings, it's more spiritual, but it relates back to the subconscious. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. So we can hypothesize as humans all day long. Well, it's like this, it's like that. Oh, it's like this, it's like that. Oh, I see it like this and like that. Well, of course you do. Perceptions are different. You perceive this one way, I perceive this one way. But it all goes back to the subconscious. And then it all goes back to the superconscious. It all goes back up into the network. The process of accessing your highest, most enlightened version of yourself is the superconscious. It's superconscious reception. The superconscious will give you ideas. The superconscious is what Einstein tapped into. All the great inventors in history tapped into the superconscious because they were aware. In the superconscious, all creation is complete. Everything has been complete. 5,000 years ago, the pronouncement was made, creation is complete. So when you pursue a better way of doing things, When you observe something and you go, wow, this could be even better if I added this one component to it, if I added this one twist to it, suddenly it appears as a reinvention. It's not a reinvention. It's a modification to what already exists. Leonardo da Vinci invented the helicopter. He drafted the first helicopter. Wait a minute. Did we have helicopters back then? No. Or did we? Interesting. So that predated the Wright brothers. Interesting. Helicopters predated airplanes. Interesting. Or not. Good morning, Chris. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Higher self, superconscious, God, source, the universe. When you allow, or when you relax enough to allow, because if you're not relaxed, you're resisting. All resistance resists the superconscious. Can the subconscious be taught to resist? Oh yeah, all day long. That's where it comes from. That's why you keep resisting. It's become a habit. It's become a program. It's become a way of living. The subconscious is what creates stubbornness, resistance, all of these actions. Does it create relaxation? Yes. It needs to be taught. How do you teach the subconscious? Repetition. The subconscious learns in repetition. What you repeat, you become. A human being becomes what they practice. Some people are unintentionally driven in the wrong direction for their lives, for the results they seek. Some people don't know why they do what they do. Because 95% of your actions are subconscious. 95%. In other words, let's say it another way. Your body knows how to do 95% of your functions better than your conscious mind. 95%. This is why when you go to the store on Saturday and you find yourself accidentally driving to your job and you make the corrections and you're a little embarrassed, but nobody's there, so it doesn't matter, and you make the correction, now you're going to the store. Because your subconscious drives you to work Monday through Friday. Your subconscious gets dressed. Your subconscious brushes your teeth. Your subconscious eats your favorite food. It learns. Can you develop good habits just as easily as bad habits? Oh yeah. It's what you repeat. At first, it's uncomfortable. Humans are resistant to change. Let's say it another way. Humans function on their subconscious more than on their conscious mind. You can commit something to memory. When I first started learning how to play the guitar, I would play in the dark with my eyes closed so I could map out every chord, all my, scales in the dark with my eyes closed. I was 14 when I started. I just thought it was cool to do that. I didn't know I was programming my subconscious. I had no idea. When I was 24, I met this guy who was blind and he was a musical genius. Coincidence? But the synergy was there. All of a sudden, when we played, it just came together like this. The magic happened. There's a lot of duos like that, where you put them together, the magic happens. When they're apart, then they're okay. This one's okay, this one's okay. But when you put them together, you get magic. Or let's say it another way, when you put them together, you get something exceptional. Because the superconscious begins to work, because intuition begins to happen, because now you're open and you're feeling what each other is doing. And when you're feeling what each other is doing, everyone else is feeling you. When you're thinking, everyone else is thinking. That's where you get opinions from. When someone is feeling you or feeling your work, as in a musician, as in a musical environment, it's flow state. It's the highest state of flow. When they're feeling you. So if you're a technician and you're trying to show people how good you are, now you're operating from thought. Now you're operating from ego. Now what happens? Everyone kind of loses sight of that. Because instead of pleasing, one person in here, instead of working on this one, pleasing this one, you're trying to please an entire audience. Think about it. That's a tough job. They are 5,001 persons. You cannot please 5,000 people. You focus on one person. If you have to close your eyes, you close your eyes. But you tune into one person. You tune into one source. You tune into one energy. You tune into your subconscious. You receive instructions from your superconscious. And now you're touching 5,001 persons. Why? Because your focus is not split 5,000 ways. That's impossible. Your focus is one. You are one. God is one. That energy is one. The superconscious is one. The subconscious is one. The conscious is one. When that happens, you open. When you're open, you can receive. If you can receive, you can give. If you're like this, you cannot receive. If you're like this, you cannot give. If you're like this, you're closed. If you're like this, nothing moves, nothing budges. You have to open. Do we open? Yeah, we all open. We open, close, open, close, open, close. This is, okay, I'm willing to do this much. I'm not willing. I'm willing, not willing, willing, not willing. Sometimes there's trust issues. I trusted this person and then this happened. I trusted this person, then that happened. a subconscious belief. When you do this, this happens. When I do this, this happens. Can you change it? Sure. Instead of trying to please everyone, please this one. When you please this one, you please these. All of these ones. All of these one persons. All of the people in your friend group. When you love this one, you love all of these people. When you love this one, you love everyone in your family. It doesn't work the opposite way around. Everything starts in here. The kingdom is within. The kingdom is here. So this can be heaven. This can be hell. Most of us go back and forth. The windshield wiper, back and forth. Heaven, hell, heaven, hell, heaven, hell. This week I'm in hell. Next week, oh, it's a great week. I'm in heaven. But then that one thing happens, which triggers the subconscious. And the subconscious goes, okay, come back here. How do you stop it? Affirmations, meditation, focalization, visualization. It's about how fast you can turn the glass. When it's half empty, flip it to half full. Sometimes it takes just a couple of minutes. Sometimes it takes a few seconds. Depends on what it is. Some things are more severe because it plays on different traumas. Depending on what the trauma is. When the event happens, the trigger will be more severe. I work with military people with PTSD. Their PTSD triggers are minimal now. Minimal. We can call that a greater degree of freedom. Why? Because you're not bound to the subconscious. You're not bound to the trauma. You're not bound to the previous experience. The Christians have a saying for that. They say, let go and let God. The important part of that is the let go part. Okay? When you open, you release. Okay? Like this, you're not releasing. Like this, you release. You let go. Detach. How do you detach? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. I have a teenager, 17 years old. Life coaching. Yesterday, we had a session. I walked in. He's clean shaven. He's different vibe. And I'm like, whoa, confidence level up. Confidence. I'm like, this is amazing. He's beginning to care for himself. Care, self-care. So what is confidence? Confidence is the freedom of anxiety, to be free of anxiety, the freedom from anxiety, the freedom from worry, the freedom from negative emotions. Can you experience an emotion without being tied to it, without being attached to it? Yes. It's the cloud. The cloud goes by. Observe. Acknowledge it as it is. Oh, this is sadness. This is depression. This is anxiety. This is bad feelings. This is sadness. Observe. Allow it to pass. Identify it. First acknowledge, then identify, then allow. Allow it to pass. Okay, I'm watching sadness. This is sadness. This is the feeling of sadness. I'm allowing. In 90 seconds, sadness is gone if you don't attach. Okay, attachment. Okay, engagement. You're engaging, you're attaching. When you allow, there's no attachment. Okay, here it comes, right? Here it comes. I'm not going to attach to it and say this is what I am. Now you're identifying with the emotion, you're identifying with the thought. I am sad. I am angry. I am depressed. I am lonely. I am all alone. No. You see it? Okay, here's loneliness. Wait, just wait, observe, allow it to pass. 90 seconds goes by. If there's no action on it, if you do not take action on it, it's gone. It's a feeling. What provokes the feeling? Thought. What provokes the thought? You see? Anytime you engage in an action, the roots are the thoughts. The thought comes first. First you think it, then you do it. First you think it, then you attach to it. First you think it, then you become it. What a human being engages with the most, they will become. Can you change it? Oh yeah, easy. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. How do you not attach to something? Observe it. Observe it and acknowledge it. I don't feel good right now. Okay, observe it. What does that look like? What does it feel like? Okay? Are you going to own it or are you going to let it pass? Are you going to own it or are you going to allow it to leave? If you don't allow it to leave, that's saying that you're going to attach to it and pull it back here because this is what I am. I am is a complete sentence. It refers to your being. I am is the superconscious. I am is God. A human being becomes what they identify with. Do you identify with I am? All you need to know is the what and the why. I am what? Write down 100 positive I ams. And then read them in the mirror. Why would I do something crazy like that? That's crazy, right? No, not at all. Your subconscious responds, number one, to visuals. Number two, audio. It knows your image better than anyone. It knows your voice better than anyone. If you repeat these positive I am affirmations or declarations in a mirror, looking at yourself, you can transform your self-esteem in days, maybe 2 days. Depending on your condition, maybe immediately. Self-formations. What are self-formations? I created self-formations in Hawaii years ago. Self-formations is taking that 100 positive I ams, reading it into your phone recorder or any type of vocal record, any voice recorder. And then listening to it over and over and over. Why is that important? Because your subconscious responds to your voice first. your voice above all others. It can transform your self esteem overnight. Maybe not overnight for some, maybe some it'll take a few days, maybe some it'll take a week, but it's your voice saying, I am generous, I am kind, I am loyal, I am friendly, I am whatever. All the good things about you. Write it down. Even if it's something you would like to become that you're not yet. Not yet. You aspire to be generous. You aspire to be good. You aspire to be whatever. Whatever you aspire to be, I am that. And now it becomes to materialize. It starts becoming. As human beings, we are all becoming. We are all developing. We are all evolving. We evolve. We go through stages. Some people get stuck in one stage. They don't evolve. What happens? Well, they can't get past the subconscious programming. It's like going on a merry-go-round. New Year's, we do fireworks. Valentine's, we send flowers. St. Patrick's Day, we wear green. And it keeps going like that. Christmas, we give presents. Thanksgiving, we have dinner. It keeps going. We give thanks on Thanksgiving. We're good to people at Christmas. We do fireworks on, it keeps going. And some people never get past that conditioning. I'm not here to sell you anything. I have nothing to sell you. The majority of people cannot afford my training. I'm here to give. So watch this again. Watch the lives. There's Facebook keeps lives. YouTube, my YouTube lives, they get stored. The others don't. 2 Facebook pages. Here for You Life Coaching and my personal page. They last for 30 days. For 30 days, you have the opportunity to go back and look at all these lives. And when you start to watch these lives, you go, oh, okay. Because there's 2 different worlds. There's 2 different worlds coexisting simultaneously. There's the physical and the spiritual. Everything is energy. At the spiritual level, everything is energy. If you approach life from the energetic point of view, everything's different. The physical is temporary. The spiritual is permanent. The energy is permanent. It evolves. It's 8 a.m. It's time to say aloha from Hawaii to our international stream. So we'd like to thank you. Thank you, Jacko, for joining us. Thank you, Leo, for joining us. Thank you, Chris, Nateo, Celeste, Nate. I'm sorry, Nate. Okay. Thank you for joining us. So we say goodbye to TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Trovo in Europe. We bid you